I need a display for my guitars to photograph that is consistent, neutral. I don't have any money either. So let's make something with no money. All right, I think I've gotten my pieces of wood selected out. Those are actually, it's just wood off a couple of pallets. If you check Craigslist, you can usually find them for nothing, people trying to give them away. The tough part's trying to make sure that there's like nothing yucky or goopy on them, which these are all pretty clean. Yeah, now we get to sand the top of them to make them look kind of pretty. There we go for the moment. I found a center line on a plank, lined it up, just ran it down. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to start sanding it down, getting a nice smooth finish on it. Trying to get rid of this really rough stuff. I'm not worried if it gets like smooth as glass smooth, but I want it to get smooth enough so if I brush up against it, I don't hurt my tender skin. Alright, this is my test piece. This has just been sanded at 80 and then 120 on the random orbit sander. This is just boiled linseed oil. It's nothing fancy. We're going to take a look at what this does to this wood, which is mostly some kind of softwood, pine or something of that ilk. You can just tell when you sand it. It just smells like pine. Most of it. I actually have a piece of oak down there on the bottom of the other one. So I'm going to put a base coat or two of just this boiled linseed oil down on it, and then we're going to see what happens if we put a coat or two of TruOil on top of that. What's going to happen? I have no idea. Well, just on this test piece, we're going to lay the linseed oil down on it. We're going to let it dry. And then we're going to put a couple of coats of TruOil over the top of it and see how that does. I don't know. It's a test. Meaning we're not really sure what's going to happen, and that's okay. I have no idea what this is going to sound like today. The wind is crazy. We just had a front move through yesterday, and we are now expecting wind gusts in the 40 to 50 mile an hour range all day long. Alright, so there we are. This is it's kind of a nice spot right there. This is a pine softwood board of some ilk, with one coat of just plain boiled linseed oil, and one coat of TruOil on top of it. What I was kind of hoping was going to happen, and what happened, was that the TruOil coat wasn't as didn't get soaked in like it would normally on a first application, because again it has this kind of base layer of linseed oil already in it, absorbed into the surface of the wood. Now, is that going to present us with some finish issues down the road? I don't know. TruOil dries hard because of the polymers that are in it and the way that it's processed, whereas linseed oil doesn't dry like really hard. So is there going to be a problem with adhesion? Is there going to be a problem with stuff lifting? I don't have any idea what's going to go on. So we'll see. We'll take a look at it in a couple of days, and I think if by the end of the week, if it was going to give us any problems, it would have given us any problems at that point. I've got the main part of this project sanded to 120. Here, hold on a minute. There we go. I've got the main part of that has been sanded at 80, has been sanded at 120. I don't know if I've got any 180. I know I've got a bunch of 220. I might just go ahead and sand that to 220, and then we'll take a look at the results of our test and see where to go from there. So testing free wood projects with boiled linseed oil and TruOil. The first coat of that linseed oil has dried pretty well. In handling it, all I have is a little 23 gauge air stapler at the moment. So what I did is I went back, and you can probably see I have glued all of the joints. I didn't take all the pieces off, but I glued the joints where it meets the wood. All it has to do is stay together long enough to get downstairs into the shop. So I glued that. Then when that dries tomorrow, we'll flip that back over. We'll put another coat. I think I'm just going to stay with the boiled linseed oil, because as I put a TruOil finish on it, it's going to start to shine. And since I'm using this for photography, I don't want it to shine. I want that nice flat look. So I think we'll probably just go with 2 coats of linseed oil, and then we'll leave it at that. Alright, here's the completed piece. And sorry for the weird angle, but my work area is so small that this is the only way I could get most of it in the shot. This is just a close-up of the hanger that's just bolted into the cross brace on the piece. And again, you can see just the different kinds of wood. The pine, there's some oak, and there's some cherry-esque looking stuff, like right there. I don't know if it's cherry, but it's light cherry. Same thing down there. That piece is most definitely a piece of oak right there on the bottom. So anyways, the gate was free. The pallets were free. I already had the guitar hanger. I already had the staples and the linseed oil. So everything I had was on hand. You know, we should probably put a guitar up there and see if a guitar looks okay on it. There's the D28. And there is the PV Cirrus BXP 5-string. It's currently the longest guitar I own. You can see I've still got a little room down there in the bottom, so everything fits. I haven't done anything with the lighting other than I just turned this one light roughly 130 degrees from where the workbench is. That's all I did. That's why you've got the shadow just on the left hand side. So there you go, something for nothing. Have a good one, folks. Cheers. Hey folks, thanks for watching the train wreck. We appreciate you being along for the ride. Make sure you like Rattlecan Guitar Restorations over on the Facebook, the Twitter, as well as the Instagram. If you haven't done so, go ahead and like us over on the YouTubes. We're posting new videos every Wednesday, and you never know what you're going to see around here. Thanks again for watching, folks. Have a good one.